shark, swallow you whole. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief. Find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10. $10,000 for me by myself. For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Mr. Vaughn, I pulled a tooth the size of a shot glass out of the wreck hull of the boat out there, and it was the tooth of a great white.
A what?
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Love to prove that, wouldn't you? Get your name into the National Geographic.
No, I'm not saying that this is not the shark. It probably is, Martin. It probably is. It's a man-eater. It's extremely rare for these waters. But the fact is that the bite radius on this animal is different than the wounds on the victim.
Get out of that Well, this is not a boat accident. There wasn't any propeller. There wasn't any coral reef. And it wasn't Jack the Ripper.
It was a shark.
I'll never put on a nice jacket again.
Hello and welcome back to the Jaws Obsession, where we're here to share with you, prove to you, convince you, or remind you that Jaws is the greatest movie of all time. If this was a video show, you'd see me pumping my fist to that intro. Some people say, well, isn't it a little too long? And I said, you know what? It just gets you in the mood to talk about Jaws, and that's what I like. It pumps you up. It injects some excitement into the whole aura that we're trying to deliver here. We're trying to get people excited. We have big things on the horizon. We're going to have a little special treat at the end of the show. Is the music of Karl Casey, who wrote and created that intro. When we added the bits of Jaws dialogue to it, it kind of steps on some of the brilliance, and you can't really hear that through the broadcast. So what we're going to do after the show is I'm going to throw the instrumental version of the intro, the Jaws Obsession introduction music, onto the back end of the show. So after we play the Jammin on the Orca and we close out today, do not turn off the broadcast, because what will start will be the instrumental Jaws Obsession intro. And you'll be able to hear all the great work that not only Karl Casey did, but the how it gels completely and seamlessly with some of the Jaws music from John Williams, and it's really cool. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. That's why we play the whole theme. We play the whole theme. To me, it's just a perfect intro, and it gets the excitement going that we're going to talk about Jaws again on this episode 8 of the Jaws Obsession, the mystery of the Brody shoulder towel. But before we get into that, we are one step closer to episode 20, as you all know, and everybody's waiting with anticipation to find out what exactly is going on with episode 20, what is going to be announced. There's been speculation. I've had emails. I'm not going to reveal it because we want to keep you on edge. We want to give you something to look forward to while we talk about the greatest movie ever made. But everyone out there in the world, okay, everyone out there that's listening right now, and we are being heard all over the world now. We're on all platforms: Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're on everything, and we're heard in a number of countries, which is kind of cool. I didn't think it was going to spread this fast. All the listeners from all over, everyone's going to be able to play a big part of this major happening in the Jaws universe, which we are trying to start here. Episode 20 is going to kick that off. So I want everybody to be excited. You don't have to live in the United States. You don't have to live in Great Britain. You can be one of the listeners that I see are popping up. Australia is on the map. We have India, Ireland, Japan. That one gentleman that's listening down in Costa Rica. That's great. Let's get more Costa Rican Jaws fans to follow and listen to the broadcast here. So In the meantime, while we wait for episode 20, when we're talking about different Jaws topics, and everyone's probably going, what is the Brody shoulder towel? Oh my goodness, I've never noticed the Brody shoulder towel. What's going on with the Brody shoulder? We're going to get to that. But in the meantime, as we march towards episode 20, what you can do is you can help me out. If you follow, subscribe, or comment on whatever platform you're listening, they all kind of work the same way. They all kind of work in a similar way, whether it's YouTube or because we are on YouTube where it's a video version of this, but we don't have the video. It's just the audio, but that's just another platform because we're spread out all over the place in order to get the message out that we all have to coalesce around this major deal that we're trying to do here, major happening. What you can do is you can follow, subscribe, comment, and share the show on whatever stream you're doing, what you're listening to, or whatever stream you prefer, to anyone you might know, or to anyone you might know that's interested in Jaws, because this broadcast is not just for the major Jaws fandom. It's also for the passive Jaws fandom, the people that might have seen it once or twice, and we talk about something, and maybe it will get them interested to watch Jaws again. Please, if you put the word out, we're going to grow this audience because the more number, the higher the number of people that are involved, we are going to do something very special. So, and also, if you are a part of a Jaws cyber community, whether you're on Reddit or Facebook, they all have there's dozens of little Jaws groups, Jaws fans, Jaws groups, fans of Jaws. If you're part of that and you're listening, you know about this, don't make it a secret. Let's get that out. Let's link the show, put the show up there, jawsob.com or Jaws. You can go to the contact page at jawsob.com. From there, you will be able to find all the links to all the platforms. So just send everybody over there. Tell them that you're listening, and share the show with people because what we're going to do is very special, and we don't want anyone to miss out. Right? Isn't that what part of being a Jaws fan is sharing your passion and your love for this great movie that was made almost 50 years ago with other people, and to get everybody excited. So tell everybody you know about the Jaws obsession, and let's grow this audience. With that, let's get right into it. Episode 8, The Mystery of the Brody Shoulder Towel. What is the Brody Shoulder Towel? This is a show that's not going to have a conclusion today. We are not going to have a conclusion because I don't have an answer to this. So that's why I am posing it out there to the Jaws world, broadcasting it out there to you, that if you have a better theory than mine, fire it back at me at jawsob2025@gmail.com, jawsob.com, or you can go to our Telegram channel and our Discord server. The links you can find right on our website. You can just pull it up on your phone. You can click one of the links, and you just go right there and just leave a comment in there and let me know what you think. What do you think is the conclusion to the Brody shoulder towel? So I'll tell you what I think towards the end of the episode, and then maybe there's a better theory. If someone was on set back in 1974, if anyone has the phone number to Carl Gottlieb or to anybody that might have been involved, get this question out there and let's get an answer to it, because there's many theories. I have one, but there's some more. So let's jump right into it. The Brody shoulder towel. So what happens is the scene after they discover Chrissy on the beach. Okay. They go right to interior of the police station, and Brody is tapping away on a typewriter. You see Hendricks, the deputy, and you see the young man, Philly there. They both have glasses of Alka-Seltzer water. Obviously, they're sick to their stomach because they just discovered the body. So we have to assume the body has been collected and moved to the medical examiner's office. And now is the aftermath of that. We go and we see there is a full glass of Alka-Seltzer water, which is used for upset stomach and nausea, to calm nausea. And that is on Brody's desk, but it's not even touched. So we know that Brody is kind of like, he's seen this before. He was a detective in Manhattan, in New York City. So he's seen dead bodies before. This is nothing new to him, but to the people on Martha Vineyard, obviously this is something new. So, okay, that's a nice little touch. But what he has on his shoulder is a towel. Okay, it is a towel. It is orangish in color. Some would say that it's like a two-tone because the opposite side is yellow, and then on the top side is an orange color. And it's the 1970s. Everything was yellow and orange back in the 1970s. So this is nothing It's nothing really special at the time, but there's a towel across his shoulder. Now, the only thing that is the mystery here is that towel stays on his shoulder all the way over the next 5 to 6 minutes of the movie. So he's typing on the typewriter. He gets the call. It says shark attack. He gets up. Now he's got to go, and he's got to go find paint. So he's paint and signs. He's got to go make beach clothes signs. So he leaves the sheriff's office. And what I'm going to ask everybody to do is to go over to the Telegram page or to our Discord server where the show notes are. On the show notes, I'm going to post a series of photographs that's going to be explaining what I'm looking at. You're going to be able to see. So if you pull that up right now, and then you listen to this part of the show, you can actually see all these photos that I have taken from the movie, and I have screenshots from the movie as well as some other stuff. And it's going to be over there on the show notes so you can actually follow along. So what we have is you can actually see this, or you can just watch the movie and you can see what I'm talking about. So he leaves the sheriff's office and he zips up his coat, but you see the towel still under his coat. Okay. He walks in, he runs into Bad Hat Harry at the bike shop where the kids are karateing the picket fence and all that. And he continues on his day. Now, let's pause right there. The reason why I say this is because it actually is referred to by Polly, the secretary. Let's listen to this scene where she walks into the office.
Well, you're up awful early. Is the chief in there? Well, chief, what have you got on?
Polly, if this new filing system is going to work, you've got to keep that outdated stuff off my desk. Just the pending, all right?
Yes, chief.
Okay, I didn't know if you caught that.
Well,
but
you're up awful early.
I didn't know if you caught that, but you got to listen.
Chief in there?
Listen to that right here.
Well, chief, what have you got on?
Polly, if this new filing system is going to work, you've got
So
to
she
keep
says,
that
well,
outdated
chief,
stuff
what
off my
have
desk.
you
Just the
got
pending, all
on?
right?
Yes, chief.
Okay, she's looking right at this towel that's draped over his shoulder. Now, that clearly indicates that nothing happens in a movie that's not scripted. I went over the script. I went over the Peter Benchley script, and I went over the first draft that he turned in, and I went over the Carl Gottlieb published Peter Benchley script, and that dialogue is not in there. It's not mentioned. So what is going on? What have you got on? Even Polly says, what have you got on? What's with that towel? Okay. And Brody kind of ignores her because he's all preoccupied in typing up the police report. So let's skip from there. So he leaves the police station and he runs into Bad Hat Harry, and you see on his right shoulder, tucked in under his jacket, is that orange/yellow towel. Okay. Now, some people might say that there has been recent talk in other podcasts. They have talked about the color palette of Jaws. We're not going to get into that right now, but we could get into that later on. The guys over at the Daily Jaws recently did an article about the color yellow and how it plays a role throughout the movie Jaws. Color palette and color schemes are one thing, but when you take something of a wardrobe and you put it into a character, what you are now doing is you are putting something there that could lead to continuity errors. It becomes a whole new thing where they have to take a photo of you at the end of every day to make sure you look the same, because movies, as we know, are filmed out of order. This scene could have been filmed after another scene. This scene could have been filmed after a week after one of the scenes that's following. So even the wardrobe person in charge of wardrobe and costuming had to make sure that orangish towel is on Brody's right shoulder under his jacket for the subsequent scenes that are filmed. So he goes into the paint store. The guy's arguing about the summer gangs coming down. He can't get anything. He can't get a beach umbrella. And Brody goes to pull the paintbrushes out. He drops the paintbrushes all over the place. There's the towel sitting right under his jacket. Then we don't really see that when he gives all the stuff over to Hendricks because of the angle that Brody's at. Brody's kind of looking away from the camera. We go right to the sculpting gallery where he's waiting for the ferry to take him over to the swimmers that he sees out there. He's trying to tell him to get out of the water. He's smoking a cigarette. If you look at that, photo number 6, taken from the movie, screenshot, there is the towel right there under his jacket. Gets on the ferry. Now here comes the entourage. Mayor Vaughn shows up with Meadows to get out of the car. Everybody's coming out, and so all these different takes, all these different things. It looks like one seamless scene, seamless day, but these are filmed over many different days. And there's the towel right there. What is the mystery? What was that? What was going on? Why is that towel there? Polly wants to know. Why? What have you got on? Okay, we never really are told. Why was that towel included in his wardrobe for the day? We're never really explained that. Now, this is not to be confused with the Brody shoulder towel from the beginning when he answers the phone back at his house. I've included a still frame of that. It's a completely different towel. Obviously, he was just shaving, getting ready for the day. That's one of his house towels. What is your theory? What do you think that towel was used for? Here's my theory. I believe that there was a scene when he was collecting the body of Chrissy, and he had the towel where he put his Old Spice on there. Because we see later on in the movie, Brody obviously has a sensitive nose when he's chumming the water for Quint, and he has a white towel draped down the front of him, and he's using Old Spice, and he's putting it on the towel, and he's huffing it, he's inhaling it in order to, negate the smell of obviously the chum. That's pretty nasty stuff he's thrown in the water to attract the shark. So I thought, my theory is that there was a scene, and he put that Old Spice on that towel, so it's kind of like he kept it around him because the smell of decomposition was in his nose, and he doesn't like that. Maybe they had a scene where they talked about that and it was verbalized, or that just was included. Or they never got around to filming it, or that was the original intent. Clearly, it was something going on because they wrote dialogue for Polly to say, what have you got on? Now, there could be a theory that she walks in and she smells the cologne. So she goes, whoa, Chief, what have you got on? As in like, boy, do you smell like a half a bottle of Old Spice? That could be all well and good, but it's the towel she's smelling. He keeps it under the jacket as he's walking down because why? Because maybe his clothes smell like decomp. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe that smell is kind of getting in his head. Is that why he's got the towel? I don't know. You tell me. Does anyone out there know the answer? And that's where this episode is trying to get answers, because here at the Jaws Obsession, we are not infallible. We do not have the answers to everything, but this is a platform. I remember I stated on episode 1, this is an information trading post where if you have a question, you can email in, or if I have a question, I can post it and talk about it here. And hopefully someone who's in the know, because there are many, many more deep Jaws fans and tech-savvy Jaws fans and people that were there on the set that could possibly answer this question. This is the little wrinkle that I'm dealing with. One more thing. Here's a little wrinkle that we're dealing with here. In Jaws Memories of Martha's Vineyard by Matt Taylor, the book that we talked about, I believe, in last week's episode, in episode number 7 from 2011. If you flip to page 51, so page 50 and 51, there's a photograph that goes across double pages, of which I have a scan that is also included on our Telegram and Discord, Telegram page and our Discord server in our show notes. You can see this. This is clearly, it's a publicity still, or it's a black and white photograph taken from the set that day. And it shows Brody at his typewriter, and he has a white towel. It's a black and white photo, but he clearly has a different towel than the towel that's in the movie on his shoulder. So now there is a white towel because of there's two lines at the bottom of the towel as you see it draped over his shoulder. And that two-line design is not in the towel that's in the movie. This towel clearly was maybe a distraction, and Spielberg said, get a different towel in here. But what is the significance of the towel? Why even have a towel on? Because you're opening yourself up to a host of continuity errors. The towel will change position. If you have 4 takes of a dialogue scene like they do on the ferry, the towel could be sticking out in one and you cut away and then you go back to a different take and now the towel is tucked in just a little bit different. As a script supervisor or as a director or someone in charge of wardrobe, you kind of want to limit that. It's kind of when someone gets a scar on their face early in the movie, now they have to have that scar in every scene that's after because you don't want a continuity error. So they had to put this towel in there. It must have served some importance of we were never given the reason why. And that's what we want to get. We want to solve this mystery of the Brody shoulder towel. So we have included in our show notes, there's a photograph of Brody wearing a different towel, but there is a towel on his shoulder. So let's get to the bottom of this by putting all our collective heads together. And let's get some theories out there. Do you think my theory holds that he was using it in the way he uses a towel in Old Spice later on Quint's boat on the Orca? Do you think he was using that with the body of Chrissy? Or do you think that there's a completely other explanation? I would love to know. And if you could let us know at jawsob.com, that would be great.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired, I want to go to bed. I had a little think about an hour ago.
Like I said, this is the Navy tradition. Be brief, be good, be gone. That's how we are at the Jaws Obsession. We don't want to waste your time. We want to get right into it, and we want to tell people, and then we want to get right into it and actually have a good time, but make sure that you can also go about your day. So that's why these episodes are going to be short.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired, I want to go to bed. I had a little think about an hour.
The movie Jaws is copyrighted property of Universal Studios. Any reference and sampling from the movie Jaws in this episode is intended to fall within Section 107 of the Copyright Act. The copyrighted materials are fairly used for the purposes of criticism, comment, reporting, teaching, and research. The materials used here are protected by the fair use guidelines of Section 107 of the Copyright Act. All rights reserved to the copyright owners. Make sure you stay tuned after the show. We're going to have the instrumental version of the Jaws Obsession theme by Karl Casey. You can find Karl Casey at the links in the description of this broadcast on any platform that you're watching. And that's episode 8, everybody. We'll see you next time on episode 9. Please go to jawsob.com and let's see what you think. What do you think the mystery of the Brody shoulder towel is? Thanks for listening. Until next week, farewell and adieu. And show me the way to go home.
Show me